Our goal here is to rewrite this quadratic function in vertex form by using the method of completing the square. Um, so um, I only really have this function, unlike an equation where I can add or subtract the same thing from both sides. This is a function f of x and it equals this thing. So I'm only playing with one side here. And here's the techniques that we use. So I've got the 3x squared plus 12x, and then I've got plus something to complete the square. But then I've got a, um, a plus 15, and I have to subtract this same thing to complete the square. Now, as I look at my first two terms, I can see that I don't have a leading coefficient of 1. So I'm going to factor out from those first two terms, I'm going to factor out a 3. So I'm going to make this 3 times x squared plus 4 times x plus something to complete the square, close those parentheses, plus 15, and then subtract something to keep this equal, right? So basically I'm going to be adding something to this function, and I need to subtract the same thing so I don't mess it up. The thing that's strange is that these are not the same value now, right? Because I have this multiplier out in front of these parentheses. So for example, if I was to place the number 2 here, right, all of a sudden I just added 6 to this function. So I need to subtract 6. So whatever I add in here to complete the square, I need to subtract 3 times that in order to keep this function producing the same exact values. Now, to complete the square, because this inside of here, this parenthesis a is equal to 1 inside, I'm just going to take half of my b and square that. So I'm taking half of 4, and I'm going to square that, and that gives me 2 squared, which is 4. So I'm going to just add 4 inside of here. Now, I just added 12 to this function because I've got 3 times this 4. In order to keep this function producing the same values, I'm going to subtract exactly 12 from the function here. So that's why there's a 12 there. You know, I'm putting a positive 4 here and a negative 12 here. The reason is this multiplier out in front. Okay, so now if I look at it, I have this thing in the parentheses as a perfect square trinomial. So I'm going to write this as 3 times the quantity of x plus 2 quantity squared, and then I'm going to have a 15 minus 12 is plus 3. So if I look at this now that this is in vertex form, I can tell a lot of things about this that I couldn't before. For example, this thing has been shifted 2 units to the left because this is a x minus minus 2. So it's been two units to the left. The other thing that's happened is it's been shifted 2 units up. And also it's been subjected to a vertical stretch by a factor of 3. Now, none of those I could really see when I was looking at the original function, but now that I've got it in vertex form here, I can tell you I've got a pretty good idea of exactly what this function would look like.